interviews for interim town manager are completed. Find out what candidate received an offer.
Plus, the Planning Board opens a public hearing for a medical building to be located on North Main Street. The presentation just ahead.
Also coming up, we take a look at the on-the-scene wrap-up from the latest Rotary Club Summer Concert Series and find out what performers are heading to East Longmeadow next.
And later, our weekly segment, Library Learning. The library has 3 new upcoming events. Take part in 1, 2, or all 3 for a relaxing, informative, and stress-free week.
Those stories and much more ahead on ELCAT News Update. Thanks for tuning in to ELCAT News Update. I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Allie Carrington.
We begin this show with the latest town council meeting held on July 26th. A lengthy agenda included interviews for the town's first ever interim town manager. The 2 candidates running are David Marciello and Denise Menard. Marciello is an attorney who previously served as Rehoboth's interim town administrator, and Menard served as East Windsor's first selectman. She has also served on many other boards and committees throughout her years in municipal government. Each interview was made up of 9 questions. The question, "What would be your 30-day plan if hired?" was given to each candidate prior to the interview.
In short, before I go forward, the short answer is the first 30 days is going to be spent structuring everything so we can run forward and in 4 months' time have this business running seamlessly. Now, if you look at the next page, you need to focus on getting the systems established and running efficiently. I've already gotten started on this even before being asked this question. Before I spoke to Councilman Ford, I had already met with the town accountant. I had already met with staff and some department heads. I've already obtained the auditor's management letter. It's right here. I've already gone through it, fine-tooth comb. It needs to be updated. I've already familiarized myself with the annual town report. It's right there. I've already familiarized myself with the capital plan and with the charter. I noticed immediately that you didn't have a master plan, and that's something long-range wise you need to have a master plan. You have a fantastic capital plan. I have some ideas as to how to massage it a little bit, but it's a very good start. But you don't have a master plan, and you ought to. It's something that will help you prepare going forward and make your town the way you want your town to be.
Next up, Denise Menard from East Windsor, Connecticut.
I have a letter addressed to you all. It says, Councilman Ford asked that I prepare to discuss what my plans would be for the first 30 days on the job if I'm chosen as the interim town manager. My approach to any new position is to read and to listen. The interim town manager needs to be sensitive that the town's employees have been through a time of uncertainty that will continue until the permanent town manager is on board. Keeping that in mind, along with provisions in your recently adopted charter, the interim will need to address immediate needs for keeping the business of the town moving forward, getting to know the council, the town employees, and the community in general. That will require a clear understanding of the town council's priorities and getting familiar with the budget and the governing documents that you have. Pending legal matters, including litigation, personnel, and contracts that may be expiring through the end of the year. The town's properties, because I saw in the charter that this person is responsible for some of that kind of, having to do with the town's properties. So I've been introduced to the town hall, and I've been introduced to the library because we got here a little early, and I've checked out this building, so I'm on a roll. Economic development that needs anything from the manager or the town staff, capital projects for this fiscal year, and vacancies that need to be filled. It will certainly be a busy 30 days.
Immediately after the interviews were conducted, the council went into open deliberation on who they think would be the best fit for the town.
One candidate it appears very well understood it's an interim position, interviewed for an interim position. And the other candidate, I felt like at any rate, was interviewing for a permanent position, and outlined a 30-day plan that's more reflective of a permanent position. I think one candidate was very sensitive, or appeared to be very sensitive to what the town's gone through, both the employees and the residents. The other, I don't think ever mentioned it. I don't think it really was part of the conversation. Both are very well qualified. Both have a tremendous amount of experience in municipal government. But I'll just come out and say it. I think, given those two interviews, I think right now I'm favoring Mrs. Menard.
I'll be honest with you, I'll just go on to your, one of the most important things I think for us as representatives of the voting public is her sensitivity to not only the citizens of the town, what they've gone through, sensitivity to the change that we're currently going through, knowing that, we're all trying to figure it out and head in one direction. That sensitivity to employees, and sort of, we have a lot of employees that are, not really sure what direction they're going, or their position's gonna be here tomorrow, or they're not gonna be here tomorrow. Just mannerism and personality, I think, is a fit for here is important, even though it's interim, but the fit, I think, is just as important as qualifications. And I have to say that I have to go with Denise on that, because I just think fit-wise, it's what we need. Somebody that can manage, organize, but be sensitive to employees, citizens. I mean, that's just kind of like the whole thing we're looking to have.
And there is very much they're two very different candidates, and there is an X's and O's component to what we do here, and how they're going to execute, on certain aspects of the daily functions of the job are important. But as a leader, you delegate most of those responsibilities, and you do surround yourself and build a consensus, build a team environment, and work towards a common goal. One of the things that impressed me when I first spoke with her is that I was asking her questions about her successes, and she was giving me examples of other people's successes and she reiterated some of those tonight. It's a unique leader that does not take credit for other people's successes.
A motion that we offer the position to Denise Menard, and that the council authorize the council president and Joe to enter into contract negotiations or specifics in terms of benefits and compensation, to come back for final approval for the council once that's settled.
After making a final decision to offer Menard the position, the meeting moved ahead to discuss other items. The council reviews the Bylaw Committee that will be needed by August 1st. Prior to the meeting, ELCAT talked with Town Council President Kevin Manley to learn exactly what this committee is and why we need it.
Basically what it is by August 1st of this year, we had to have a bylaw review committee to go in and review all the existing bylaws for the town, and sort of how does the charter impact those bylaws and what changes need to be made. And they have 12 months from the establishment of the charter, which is kind of tricky because it's really only 10 months, because now, that was April, now we're in July, so it's going to be 9 or 10 months. It's going to be a lot of work for that committee to undertake, because they have to go basically line by line in every bylaw for the town, general bylaws, and look at it and say, how does the charter impact this?
The council made it a point to consider one applicant who is in his early 20s to encourage other young adults to participate in research in municipal government.
We need to have a committee that consists of 7 members. It's suggested by the charter that at least 2 of those members come from the charter, if able. So I talked to numerous people around the town, and I have put a list together, and it was also posted, and a couple additional names have come in since then. I spoke with Marilyn Richards, who we have the pleasure of joining us this evening, Larry Levine, and I don't believe I really need to speak on qualifications of those 2 candidates. They're very well known. The third name is Pete Levesque. I don't know how many of you people actually know Pete, but brief description: he is an environmental engineer. He's provided services in his community for 25 years plus. He is a resident, and I would find him very instrumental in participating and being able to review those bylaws that pertain to his level of expertise. I'll jump down the list to George Kingston as well, because him and George will share some of the same characteristics. I spoke with Tom O'Connor. who, again, as you all know, was on the Charter Commission, and Ray Miller, Bill Fonseca from the school committee, and Ralph Page expressed interest, and the last candidate I believe that called in today was Anthony
Deanne.
Deanne.
Anthony Deanne, who ran for council, actually called today. Had a couple of things that he wanted to talk about, but one of the things was he wanted to make sure that we were aware that he was interested in serving on any sort of committee. And I said, well, the bylaw committee's up. We can probably talk about. We're probably going to talk about it tonight at the meeting, depending on length of time and whatnot. So I told him that I would add his name to the list.
I do want to speak for that, if memory serves me, Danini is his last name?
Danny.
Dan, is he a younger guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, one of the things that thrilled me about the election was younger folks getting involved. And I don't know that he has any of the qualifications that we might be looking for, but I think we need to encourage the younger people getting involved and working with the folks that have been around for some time, learn from them, mentor. I just would like to see us encourage that. Maybe that would be the ideal position for somebody brand new like that, is an alternate to work with them.
The bylaw review committee be composed of the following individuals: Larry Levine, Marilyn Richards, George Kingston, Tom O'Connor, Ray Miller, Pete Levesque, Bill Fonseca, and Anthony Deanne as the alternate.
Second.
To watch the entire meeting or interview highlights, head over to our ELCAT YouTube page at ELCAT01028.
The Board of Public Works also met last week. Robert Parent not only serves as the town's acting town manager, but also wears the hat of chairman for the Board of Public Works. Parent begins the meeting with an update on the town's water restriction that recently went into effect.
I did want to spend a little bit of time on was talking about the voluntary water restrictions that were put in place as of the beginning of this week. I've put together a couple of items for the board to look at to get a better understanding of the situation that we've been facing. First thing I did just want to note is to stress that the restrictions are voluntary restrictions, and that the restrictions of what we're asking our customers to do right now is to go to an odd-even watering schedule for lawn irrigation. And that would mean that if your street address is an odd street address, to water on the odd date, and if you're an even street address, to water on the even street date. The other thing we're asking our customers to hold off the time being on swimming pool refilling, if at all possible. And the goal is, we are looking to try to cut down our demand a bit in order to be able to get primarily our storage tank capacity back to where we feel it needs to be.
Failure to voluntarily reduce outdoor water use may result in implementation of mandatory water restrictions. Questions or concerns? Contact the East Long Meadow Department of Public Works at 413-525-5400, extension 1200.
Moving on to another town meeting, Planning Board. The meeting began with a site plan review. The proposed project is for an 18,000 square foot medical office to be located on 250 North Main Street.
The site has been cleared and debrushed, though the brush is once again starting to grow back up. But there are no significant features on the site. There are no trees, stone walls, or large trees that would need to be taken down. We're proposing to build one single office building to the front of the parcel, 2 levels, which Charlie will talk about. The site will be accessed by a single access driveway. The originally submitted plans had an entrance and an exit, if you will, double out, left and right hand turn, but no island. Following the roundtable and recommendation of DPW and also the police department, we've added a dividing island so that the traffic is better controlled. Also, we've cut back the radius because there was concern that fire department vehicles and larger vehicles would have a problem in making this direct 90-degree turn. So we have made that a wider radius. We have provided also a turnaround and drop-off at the rear for the lower level. There are 90 spaces as required by the zoning, and those are shown. We have a good number of upper level. We also have lower level, but also a sidewalk that provides access from going in either direction.
Great to see that empty lot finally have something on it after all these decades of sitting there. And I'm happy that they were able to fit it, all the paved areas outside of Riverfront. I guess the only thing wasn't clear is whether or not the cul-de-sac is adequate from the point of view of the fire department. Have they commented on that?
They did, Paul took a look at that. It does not allow for their largest vehicle, but he felt that the fact that they can get in to the entrance almost with their vehicles, that it didn't pose a problem for him. They did not raise any concern. I mean, we talked about it, but it was not raised as a concern because he can come in and he'll be almost to the entrance with the vehicle for fires to get them in.
So they have access, and after the fire is over, they can back out, basically,
Yes,
is what he
absolutely.
said.
And the building is sprinkler too, which I think goes a long
Yeah.
way.
This isn't just a straight-out office building where people come in the morning and they leave at night and that's it. Having it in the business zone where, whether it be medical, dental, you're going to have traffic in and out all day long. I think that's going to contribute a great deal to the actual traffic on North Main Street. And although I know you say the traffic study is only going to tell us what we know, I mean, I would be looking for how do we remediate some of the problems that exist there.
I think that you were party to that conversation, talking with Bob Parent, superintendent, that he was on the same plane, if you will, about the study, that potentially he would prefer to see the use of the money for the study used by the town in some shape or manner other than the study. In the interim between the roundtable, I did talk to John Furman from VHB, Vanessa Hangen-Bruselin, and also Jeff Pachulis of JSP, who have given estimates of the cost of the study. And I think that based on talking with Bob briefly at that meeting, that we would be inclined to say allow the money to be used rather than for the study, to be used for the fund that he was talking about set up for the purposes of doing improvements on North Main Street.
Okay, George has made a motion to continue it to
August
our
9th.
next meeting, which is August 9th.
What time, Robert, would that be?
6?
6, okay.
And is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion on it? I would only say I think it's important that all 5 members get a chance to review it, seeing so the plans have changed.
Information related to the application is on file with the planning board and available for the public to review.
Switching gears, let's take a look back at the latest Rotary Club summer concert. Jenna is on the scene where residents are awaiting their favorite Beatles songs from a British invasion band. Let's take a look.
Hi guys, Jenna here. I'm at the East Longmeadow High School field where residents are awaiting the band Union Jack. Union Jack is a 5-piece band that features the looks and sounds of the 1960s British invasion era. The band was one of the original Western Mass tribute bands formed in 1979. Residents were able to get lost in the music to enjoy and relive the days of the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Kinks, and more. Overall, a fun and memorable summer night. Thanks for watching this On the Scene wrap-up. I'm Jenna Pappas, back to you guys.
Thanks, Jenna. There are only 2 concerts left. On next week's On the Scene wrap-up, we'll cover Dan Kane and Friends. And then on August 10th, make sure to catch the last Rotary Club summer concert of 2016, Dark Lady. Dark Lady is a Cher tribute performance. The group is made up of entertainers who hold an extensive touring background. Their goal is to bring you the greatest Cher production in the world. Again, Dark Lady will be the last show for the summer. Don't miss it.
Now it's time for our weekly segment, Library Learning, where we let you know what's happening at the East Longmeadow Public Library. If this summer has been too hectic, take a breather and sit on the library's next program, a stress-free informational discussion. Presenter Rita Shiano will teach participants how to manage stress and how to build a better attitude. The program takes place on Monday, August 8th at 6 p.m. in the library community room.
The next library event will teach you to appreciate the little things in life with Tiny House Talk. The talk will showcase a different approach to home ownership. Learn the basics of planning and owning a tiny house on wheels. Tiny house shows have been popular on TV networks such as HGTV and more. Learn what all the buzz is about and take part in the program on Wednesday, August 10th at 6 p.m. in the library community room.
Lastly, wind down with a movie for the library's monthly program, Friday Flicks. This Friday, the library is showing the heartfelt drama Mothers and Daughters, starring Christina Ricci, Courtney Cox, and Sharon Stone. The film showcases different life stories about being a mom, seen through the lens of a famous photographer. The showing takes place on Friday, August 12th at 1 p.m.
Well, that will do it for this edition of ELCAT News Update. Be sure to watch meetings on demand at our ELCAT YouTube channel, ELCAT01028. Follow us on Facebook and watch us on cable channel 191 and 193.
For cable channel times, make sure to check out our ELCAT program guide, available at the Town Hall, Library, and Senior Center. Also check your mail as the programs will be delivered monthly within the reminder.
Until next time, I'm Allie Carrington.
And I'm Rebecca Green. Thanks for watching. See you next week.